DTItrader.com/Telegram, DTItrader.com/YouTube to keep up with events here. Tom, what do we got going on today?
Well, we got a couple things going on. Got to remember it's Monday now. Okay, Mondays are strange days when you put it in context with everything in the market. But let's go live and look at the Seven Sisters. Sort of let me give everybody my take on what we're seeing. Let's do it that way. All right, folks, there's big resistance. You write this number down. It's 68.45. 68.45. I thought we were going to get through it, but then the market went to the resistance of 35 and now it's corrected. I believe that the market itself will go higher. And so what we've got to do, my target would be this week, the high of the 3 days, which is 69.10 area, something like that. That was a 3-day high. And I think we'd get up there to that high sometime this week, okay? And because of that, we'll be able to base everything really on those numbers. Does that make sense to everybody? That's, if you lay out today, I'll bring you up from the bottom, Chuck, or John, if you type these numbers in there. You start out with the monthly open. The monthly open for the S&P, let me give it to everybody where you'll have it. The monthly open, it tells you right there on the screen, doesn't it, Chuck, for the S&P? What is the monthly open?
Yeah, Tom, that monthly open is 68.78.
All right, 68.78. But we got to get above 68.45 to get to the monthly open. Keep that in mind. Okay. Now, if you look at last week's open, that was, I think, 67.78, right, Chuck, last week?
I gotta double check that. I think you might be right. Sounds
check it. Let's check it. Because that sort of frames for me the big picture. My ultimate target would be 69.09.
Well, hang on. Last week's open was the open of the month. So that was the 68.78. This week's open, 67.88. I think that's what you're thinking about.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I got confused. 67.88 is this week's open, right? And the way this plays out is you've got the monthly open, which I think is the number I would focus on, is at 68. Let's just call it 68.80 to make a little difference there. But that would tell me the big picture frame. However, I think that we're going to make it to 69.09. Jonathan, is that the 3-day high, 69.09?
Yes, it is.
All right, so the way I piece this thing together, you got support stepping in above the week open, 67.88, and below resistance at 68.45, then 35 is the day's high, okay? And so then you got to say, okay, you got to say right now, you have to say, well, what is Genesis telling us, okay? The way you do that, if you look at the high of Genesis up there, that big 3, everybody, can you circle that 3? Circle that 3. So what we're looking for is for a low to be created during this time frame. That's what we're looking for, which is an opportunity if we come out of Genesis hot, meaning higher. Does everybody see the rationale behind that? Okay, that's on the E-mini. Now let's look at the NASDAQ real quick. Just take a flash look at it, the NASDAQ futures. All right, notice the NASDAQ futures has got a lot of support here also. In fact, if you look at the monthly open for the NASDAQ futures, you're up there at about 260. And so if we get hot, the NASDAQ's going to roar. And I think I'll tell you why in a second when I go through a few stocks, okay? That's the NASDAQ futures. Let's look at the Dow. Now, the way I look at the Dow is the daily. Put the daily up on the Dow. Chuck's absolutely right. It's been weak, but the daily Dow made a new high. That's bullish. But you got to take out those 3 days there. That looks like it's, what is that, about 4? I can't read it. Those 3 bars prior to the low. What was the high of that?
That was green bar high right here is 47,583.
Write that number down or set an alert. That would tell you you're ready to run on the Dow. All right, let's look at crude oil. And you might as well put the daily in there on the crude.
Yeah, okay, that's the daily right there.
All right, crude is basically going sideways to lower. Let's look at gold. Put the daily on gold too. All right, gold is starting to break out again. If you look over here at those 3 bars before the breakdown, what's the high up there, Jonathan? Those 3 bars after we broke down.
This right here.
Let me see your cursor. Yeah, those 3. What's that high?
I got it as 4175.
Yeah, so there's a lot of room to run here if we can get above today's high. What's today's high?
$41.15.
Yeah. There's a trade there in gold today if it gets above 15. Okay. All right, let's look at silver. Yeah, there's a trade here in gold and silver. David, if you listen, there's some money to be made over here. You know, David Cormier came to my class and he's been killing it in silver. So he's about to kill it again if that thing breaks out, which it should break out, I think. Got enough uncertainty to get it broken out, okay? In fact, I would expect after the announcement that the government's going to open that the market will start correcting a little bit, maybe test some of the gains they had, and I expect gold and silver to pop. And that's what they're basically telling me right now. Let's look at bonds real quick. This is one thing that is a wild card because you've got a wild man in charge of the Fed. That's my opinion, obviously. Bonds right now are around that 117, still above the 115, which was my yearly pivot. But I would expect bonds at some point as we get closer to January, maybe even February, get rid of some of these people on that board. I think you're going to see bonds skyrocket. So there'll be a catch-up move in bonds. I thought it was going to happen this year, but I think that the forces that be are keeping it down because of bad policy. That's my opinion. We'll see. But they're still bullish above 115. All right, let's look at a stock. My stock of the month is NVIDIA. After I announced it, it took off and went up to around 211. They got earnings on the 19th. And NVIDIA has had a big day today. I bought it last night in TNT. I guess paid for about 5 months of the service last night by buying it last night at 8 o'clock. Looking good. I expect this stock to at least get to 220, maybe by the 19th. We'll see. There's a play there. Let's look at MU. This is a stock that has been loosey-goosey, but it's been very low. When it runs, and it's running. So The buy area starts, what's that, about two? Where's the buy zone start on this one?
On the
That
daily?
would be
Oh, go ahead.
259.62.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we're currently trading what, 253, something like that.
252.84. Yeah.
Yeah, this stock is hot. And I think if I'm right on the market going to 6,900, then we're going to see this thing really take off. So this is a play I'll probably do tomorrow. That's what I'm thinking after I get into Tuesday. Got some good solid numbers for the week. All right, SMU. That was my stock number 2. Stock number 3 is Apple. Look at Apple. This stock is tilting to the north side. I would think Apple's got to get above today. Apple's got to get above about 272.55 late today, and then you're going to see 275 next stop. That's Apple. All right, let's look at the QQQ. All right, we're at support on the QQQ. I would expect this QQQ would play out pretty good if you look at my 10 tickers. Let me look at my 10 tickers breakout. Yeah, 615.55. I told people to go long. Another scholarship. That looks good. Let's look at the TQQ. Now, this is interesting, TQQ. I did a play today on the TQQ. We had an option expiring. I think I had a condor. I took down the short side of TQQ because I felt like that it's not I don't want to be holding it short going into that 6,900. So I decided to go and take that down, take a small hit, but I'm going to pick up either late today or tomorrow. I'm going to pick up another TQQ trade, probably in that bonus session this afternoon. That's on the TQQ. We had 3 stocks that set up. Let's look at the daily in our afterburner program. The first one was WDC. This program's got a tremendous record of big gains, and we put that one on, right, Jonathan?
Yep, WDC is active. Micron is active.
Let's look at Micron. You know how I feel about it. It's in our afterburner program, and the other one.
Sometime today we're going to be getting into STX. Yeah, hold off for now because it's below the open. See that?
Yep. Everybody see that? What was its high today? Set alert there.
It's 296 is the high today.
Yeah. These are like, that's big game hunting in an after program. It's 4-to-1 return on what we do in there so far versus the risk. Not bad. So this is most active we've been in it with the setup today. We got 3 candidates. We're going to take all 3 of them if we get a chance. That's the game plan. All right. So any questions about the general market? We'll go into our slide presentation. I put something together. This is the first time I've seen it. Jonathan put it together on the roadmap. But unless you're here with me or see me use it in live trading, this here would be good to review, I guess. This is a good review. And we'll build upon this, but we're going to tape it. Jonathan, can we stop our taping and just tape this portion of it?
It'll be a lot easier time if I just go back and
edit it out.
Edit it out. Yep.
Okay, let's do it that way then. All right, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Hey, Tom, give me just a second. I got to take a few slides out so it doesn't halt the progress of this thing. Okay, should be good. Sorry about that.
Are you ready now?
Ready.
All right, this starts a discussion on the roadmap software, but you always have to remember past performance is not indicative of future results. In my opinion, the market is headed higher. And because of that, we have a unique tool called the roadmap to take advantage of it. Roadmap to the markets. This is train and trade, and I want everybody to understand the power of this. I think people in my live trading get it now. They maybe didn't get it before, but they've seen me use it in unbelievable trades being made using the roadmap software. Love the slides. Now, interpretation, analysis, and execution. This is the beautiful thing about the roadmap. You got so much data coming at you, okay? Coming at you, you have to organize that data in readable form. The roadmap does that for you. One of the biggest functions of it is be able to glance up there and see the trend and answer questions like when to buy, when to sell, or when to stay out. Probably the three most important considerations when it comes to trading. Timing. I spent the better part of the last 25 years building a world-class software for analysis. I call it the roadmap. I will not trade without it. I would tell people and not advise people to do the same. If you'd like to have winning trades and reducing risk when you make those trades, this is the tool, or as somebody says, the toolbox you need. All right, I tried to identify the necessary, there's so many features in the roadmap, people get lost, but these are the features you've got to learn right away. The compass charts, the way I lay out the custom page. Let me go through the whole bunch of them as an overview. ETR line, one of our very first tools that I can do live presentations with my back to the live market and stay in tune. You can get key numbers and you can also decide about positions using ETR line. The dashboard, this is a 21st century invention that we made after all these years to organize data, incorporate things like the horse race, which is a way to find out where to put your money throughout the day. The trade tracker, our system, our approach requires an understanding of the numbers that are going to make you money. This is not reading the chart here, folks. This is actual numbers that traders need to know in the trade tracker. Now, the compass charts have a wealth of information. Over in the gray area, you'll find the yearly open, which decides whether that ticker should be positive for the year or negative for the year. Nobody else has got that. We've got it. And then as we drill in on each month, it gives us our monthly open number, which acts as resistance, support, and pivot throughout the month. Then we take it to a smaller function, which we call the week open. That happens for stocks. That happens at 9:30 during the cash market. For futures, it happens. Oh, by the way, it does futures too. It happens the night before at 1800. The reference bar open, which goes and shows you the current market that we're looking at and frames it for you to give you an idea if you want to enter anytime you choose throughout the 24-hour market. Having those key numbers allow us to set up our trade, where to enter, where to exit, where we're wrong. Now, the compass charts have some unique features I want to drill in on. We have a buy zone area. We have a sell zone area. It automatically calculates that for entry, target, and stop. Additionally, Inside the chart, we have the frame of the last two reference bars that let us know where we are in positioning when we're looking at a market. In the top half, that's bullish. In the bottom half of that zone, that's bearish. It is non-biased as it looks at any ticker you want to look at. That is worth a fortune. The compass chart's nothing like it out there. The blue bars tell us where the reference bars are, the big ones. I call them the major. That's 1 through 4 throughout the 24-hour market. It numbers them. And then it also gives us the minor reference bars, X, Y, Z, which gives us key times in the 24-hour market if we're looking at it then. One of the most important minor ones is Genesis, and that happens on the Y bar. The custom checklist, the way I have it set up, I have the opening price, I have the current RB open, the last price, how much it's up or down. I will have a column for the high and a column for the low. And then I'll also have on the custom one a midpoint, which helps me determine without bringing out a calculator, if I'm looking at a certain ticker, what stage it's in, up or down. Now, if you want a custom page like I've got, then all you have to do is go under the internet, which is one of our drop-down menus, and download Tom Simple. And it blows it up for you absolutely easy. We have a video on that one. Now, electronic tape readers were one of the first features we had. Dealing with the floor the way I did, I knew how important the 30-minute time frame was. And it allows me to capture the opening prices every 30 minutes for key stocks, key tickers. I call them the 7 sisters, and stocks that I'm interested in. How are they trading? How they're trending. It's a tape read electronically. This is taking what I do with experience and bring you up to speed immediately. Red means it's pulling back. Green means it's getting stronger, but the numbers themselves at key times will tell you everything. For example, if you're looking at this particular slide, I would look at 9:30 and see 68.15 was the opening of the cash market, which is RB3. And I'd say we're trading on this one at 68.03, the market's pulling back. That's what it would tell me real quick looking at that. And also, I would know once it got above 68.15, it was time for the daily trend to take over. That's the beautiful thing about that. And by the way, that will identify these numbers throughout the 24-hour market without scrambling around trying to figure out what they are. It's a time saver as well as organizing the trend. Now the dashboard. Like I said, you can combine a lot of features, especially if you need space. With the dashboard, it gives you buy zones, sell zones, entries. It actually turns color for you when you put a ticker in there. In this case, Tesla and MU are bullish, and XBI and NNE are bearish at this particular instance of time. It's a quick and dirty way. And the beautiful thing about it, if you want to run, if you're trying to decide where you put your money, you can run the horse race function inside of this very simply by right-clicking and clicking horse race. And then it will start moving the way the market's moving to tell you what's hot and what's not. Beautiful feature. Charts are very similar to what you see, but there's a unique feature about these charts. If you look above them, they will tell you the key 24-hour numbers for any ticker you put in there. Right above it tells you exactly what those numbers are. and the pivot number. It's great information once you get comfortable at looking at it. That is the roadmap dashboard. The trade tracker, like I said, this is where we find our ideas and plug it in there. For example, if somebody that said, hey, you need to buy AMD. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is take it and plug it in my trade tracker. In this case, it is saying that AMD opened for the month at $259. And then I'd look at last price on AMD on this one, and I would say, I sure don't want to buy it right this moment because I'm below the open. I wouldn't go any further. But I would also be able to know what the 5-day high is, 5-day low is, and sort of see where it's trading inside that range. To give me an idea. It tells me so much. Now, FTD HH and FTD LL is showing our 3-day algo. This is a way to look at the month. So every weekend, I will pull up the trade tracker and check all the tickers to see and make sure that everything is in line if I'm long something. That's the beautiful thing about it. Right there for your review. Now, that's the trade tracker. Now, something I'm bringing to bear, this is going to be something that hadn't been built yet, but it's coming. I call it channels. There's a lot of things I do that people miss out on that they don't realize the importance of it, like my 10 tickers. So I'm going to have a channel that if you want the 10 tickers and have these numbers, it's going to pop in there and give it to you in that channel. A great new feature I'm going to add to the roadmap at some time in the future. Everybody see the value of having that right handy? The 10 tickers. Other people know each day in TNT that I post the 5 tickers. I call it the Magic 5. And as I told people this morning, go add this money up, buy these things. That will be a channel inside the new roadmap. I'm working. Also, the 24-hour trading and analysis with the reference bars and numbers, that will be in there where you real quick get it and go. That numbers ladder we always talk about, okay? The DTI reference bars will be contained and keep you in sync with the current trend. Now, I use the trade tracker every week to trade options for income. An example, if a stock goes above its Monday high, we don't know that yet because we hadn't finished Monday, that's bullish for the week, and I might sell a put spread for premium with strikes below the low of Monday. This thing will pay you a lot of money if you perfect the art of using it after Monday's close or close to Monday's close and getting a head start sometimes. Pretty easy to see if a stock is at near its high. Phillips here, I showed him last week on the power of this. He hadn't been on the phone with me at the time. I said, you ought to buy MU above this price. If he did that, he's probably got thousands of dollars in his account right now because if he listened, and that's another requirement, is that you got to listen and take the trades I give you. They work. Not every trade I do works. I will lose money, but the overall majority of trades that I do, okay, will make you money if you keep plugging along and learning how to do it yourself, okay? He says he's in MU today, so he's smiling, okay? Like income. Now, my live trading from 1:30 to 3, I'm doing it for the rest of the year. I'll decide at the end of the year if it has gravity. Gravity means has enough people that sign up and keep signing up, make it lucrative for us. I know it's lucrative for you because it's all about you. Just ask the people that's been in there. They paid me some token amount and they're posting $500, $1,000, $1,500. If I'm going to be there, then I want you to be part of it, and that's going to be the channel. So today I have a bonus session. You ought to join me. You ought to put up to $299 and be there and watch how I lay out Tuesday through Friday. And today we got a bonus. We're going to do it Monday from 1:30 to 3 for $299. If anybody here can find an argument why they don't like making money, they probably shouldn't be here. And I have to be aggressive about this because there's a lot of time. Just ask the people in there, okay? Pretty good stuff. Any questions about this? I don't understand Vernon's question. You understand it, Jonathan?
Yeah, when's the next 25-cent trader, Vernon? When's the next big report? That's when we trade 25-cent options on the next big economic report.
Yeah. And we don't know that yet because they haven't gave an announcement. My guess is going to be a pretty good. You ought to pay attention on Thursdays when I think it's going to happen. We'll know then when those reports are coming. Look what Jim said. If you don't like making money, he just loves it. I don't know how much money you spent because everybody spends money, right, to try to learn and educate themselves. But if you ever wanted a real quick and dirty way to learn a lot and see it done right in front of you, you ought to be in my live trading. I think even Jonathan was taken aback about how good it was. And it starts at 1:30 today on the bonus trade. So let's let this market, I think it's going to be higher this week. How it gets there, I can't tell you. The reference bars will do that. But my target is around 6,900 this week. That's 100 S&P points. Does everybody understand that? 100 S&P points. And I'm going to have Jonathan on the side, not on the screen, figure out 100 S&P points, what I expect percentage-wise the market to go up this week. And then you can apply that to 75% of the stocks. I'm bullish. He'll do the math and let us know percentage-wise, 100 over 6,800.
That's about 1.5% there, Tom.
Yeah, 1.5% from here. And we're already up today. Let me check it real quick. I got that information. We're up over 1% already. So we got about another 1.5% to go, in my estimation. Maybe the first opportunity for it to start climbing will be a positive Genesis, because it's set up to give us one. We'll see if that happens. Any questions anybody has? So this is really, I'm here for you. Tell me any questions you got now. Time to ask them. I got to get ready for my live trade. Starts in less than an hour, where we hand out money. Anybody would like to get some money handed to him? Be there. Got a perfect day to have a bonus session. Jonathan, that's about all I got.
I was just digging up a little stream of this T-Buzz live trading I can play. If you give me a few minutes, I can play it, and then we'll see you at 1:30.
Sound like a plan to me. And folks, I hope that review of the roadmap showed you If you're losing money or not consistent, it's because you don't have the roadmap. That's a clear answer, in my opinion. Kevin says, I'll be there at 1:30. I know you will, Kevin. You passed the DTI IQ test.